Welcome to W&L Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. Coming up on this week's show, I'll be joined by men's lacrosse coach Gene McCabe, men's track and field captain Drew Pranka, and women's lacrosse captain Haley Tucker. But we start with a quick look back at the weekend in Washington and Lee athletics. Men's track and field claimed its third consecutive ODAC Indoor Championship, winning 5 events on the way to a first-place finish at the conference meet in Salem. The women's team secured 2 individual titles and finished 4th overall. Women's basketball advanced to the ODAC Championship for the second time in program history, falling 63-53 to Shenandoah in the title game in Salem. Men's hoops lost 65-57 in the ODAC semifinals against top seed Randolph-Macon. Wrestling came in 6th at the NCAA Southeast Regional, where Rex Halliburton won the 184-pound weight class to qualify for nationals. Riding placed 6th at both the W&L Hollins and Sweetbriar Lynchburg Invitationals. Men's tennis beat Franklin and Marshall 5-4 and lost 6-3 to number 19 Swarthmore. Baseball wrapped up a long road trip by splitting a doubleheader with Emory. Women's lacrosse down 7th-ranked Franklin and Marshall 10-9, and men's lacrosse picked up a 14-8 road win over Washington College. Joining me now is men's lacrosse coach Gene McCabe. Gene, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Jeremy. It's always great to be on the show.
The victory against the Shoremen was the 200th of your career. Congratulations on reaching that mark. Just under 150 of those wins have come here at W&L, and your program has been able to add to a very rich lacrosse tradition over the past 13 seasons. What does that milestone mean to you?
Well, it's very humbling, and it's, milestones like that are representative of just really, quite frankly, a lot of great talent that I've been able to coach, and some great assistant coaches that I've been able to have work with me. And so it's the cumulative of those combined efforts that have led to a lot of those, or all of those wins. So it's just, it's really a blessing. I would not have been here without, Coach Stagnita trusting in me to begin with, and then the administration and Mike Walsh and Jan Hathorn and Chuck O'Connell, and so I look back and it's just a lot of blessings, and it's cool just to pause and reflect on that for a moment, but also understand that I've got a hopefully a long tenure ahead of me. So looking forward to the next one.
Beyond W&L, you're the current president of the Coaches Association. Tell us about your involvement with the USILA.
Well, I think, first of all, it's an honor to represent, the institutions that have college lacrosse, and for them to trust me to be in this leadership position. I think we're doing some exciting things with the United States Intercollegiate Lacrosse Association that represents all the institutions in the country that have lacrosse. And we've evolved a lot. And of course, it's the oldest lacrosse organization in the country, dating back to 1885. So I just feel like part of something special that has a deep and rich history of its own. And looking forward to working with a great board of directors and representing Washington and Lee in this post, and hopefully do some good before I leave it.
Looking at 2019 for the Generals, how has your team responded to a tough early season schedule?
I think our team has responded very well to a tough early season schedule. We're no strangers to this tough early season schedule. I think we do it for a very purposeful reason, and I think it grows our resiliency. I think it shows us where we're at, and highlights what we're doing well and where we need to really focus on to get better at a quicker rate. Our growth curve is pretty sharp, and you look at our first 4 games and where we've improved and what we need to do. So I'm just very pleased. Obviously, you want those 1-goal losses to go the other way, and frankly, we had our chances. But we've learned from those chances that maybe where we just fell a little bit short made us that much more hungry, that much more focused, that much more determined. Our practices have been fantastic, whether we win or we lose, and that's a real credit to the guys on this team. I mean, they're just the strength of character, their commitment to getting better every day, and their commitment to one another is really just phenomenal.
W&L has depth and experience at just about every position on the field. How do you take advantage of that? What are the keys to making the most of that this year? Well,
we are blessed to have a lot of depth at every position, and where that really shows up is just the competitiveness in practice. Our young guys are an exceptionally talented group, and it's so exciting to see them out there. But we have 20, 25, 26 juniors and seniors on the team that have played a lot. On the field, I think we're fortunate enough to have that depth to be able to keep throwing it on the field, and when we're 3 midfield lines deep, it could go 5 or 6 at the attack and defensive positions, and and really have really grown our depth between the lines. You know, Taylor Cashman's done an unbelievable job at giving Jack Hodgson some rest during games. You know, and Ned Mize and Chris Woodings are right there, and then the long stick middies and the defensive midfield core keeps growing in terms of their ability to be on the field. So, you know, managing that is important, and being mindful of you know, the rest that guys need and be able to afford them the opportunity so that we're fresh throughout the season and fresh in games. But I think that depth is going to prove to help us a lot throughout the season.
Gene, thank you for joining us. Good luck throughout the spring.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's always great to be here. I appreciate you having me.
Here with me now is Haley Tucker, senior lacrosse captain for Mannequin Sabbath, Virginia. Haley, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
The Generals opened up the year with a close road loss to a very good Mary Washington team. Since then, you've picked up quality victories over Christopher Newport and Franklin and Marshall. What's been working well for the team early in the year?
Yeah, you know, I think against Mary Washington, we weren't quite sure where people should fit on the field. We have a huge roster and a ton of depth, and that's definitely a strength of ours, but it took us a few games to kind of figure out where people fit best. So I think now we kind of have that down. And I also think against Mary Wash, yes, they're a very talented team, but we made some very fixable errors, and we're looking to clean those up in the coming games.
After missing most of 2018 due to injury, how are you approaching your senior lacrosse season?
This year, I'm just focusing on having fun and really getting out there and enjoying the game with my teammates. Last year was obviously really disappointing for me individually, but I'm coming back this year and looking to take advantage of every practice, every extra rep I can get in every game. And even though we have really lofty goals in May that we're looking to accomplish as a team, I think for me, I'm just taking it day by day. And it's been so fun so far, so I'm really excited to continue that into hopefully the end of May.
You're still playing on the draw circle, but W&L expects to use you more on attack than in the midfield for most of the year. How are you adjusting to a different role on the field?
It's been a little bit of an adjustment just because I've always played midfield, basically since I started playing lacrosse, but I'm really enjoying getting to focus just on attack and the draw. It's been a little bit easier for me, especially coming back from such a big injury. And also, I've really been enjoying getting to participate in the redefend more. That's something that we really pride ourselves on as a team, and the attack has a big role in that. And I'm excited that I get to step into that role and really have an impact there.
The Generals' tough non-conference schedule will continue throughout March. You've got number 4 Salisbury coming into town this weekend. You go to Gettysburg and York later on this month. What are the keys to maintaining a high level of play as you continue to face these top 10 opponents?
I think just playing our game. As we saw in our Mary Wash loss, those errors that we made were really fixable. So we've been focusing on honing in on the little things and kind of tightening up our discipline, because that's really the thing that separates the teams that lose in the Sweet 16 and the teams that bring home a national championship. All of the teams are good at that level, and we're definitely up there. But we just got to hone in on the little things. And also, I think just going into every game with confidence, playing with a chip on our shoulder, and knowing that we can really beat any team in the country if we play and follow the game plan.
Haley, thank you for joining us. Good luck throughout the spring.
Thank you so much.
With me in the studio is Drew Pranka, senior track and field captain from Princeton, Illinois. Drew, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Last weekend, W&L won its 3rd consecutive ODAC indoor title. What led to another great performance at the conference meet?
It really came from the whole team. We had about, I want to say 24 out of the 33 people on the roster score at the meet, and it really came out to a couple of standout performances and the whole team stepping up to the plate and really contributing to a pretty whole team.
W&L placed first in a couple of relay events. You were part of the winning 4x400 team. What are the keys to a successful relay race?
Well, the number one key you have to start off with is don't be disqualified. We had some problems with that earlier this year, and we came back from it and really had a good relay team that has to run for each other, because at this point it's one of the few team events where you're really not running by yourself. You're running for the other people in your relay, even the person with the leg next to you, and that's really what it comes down to. You're running for the team, and it brings out the best in the relay and the competitors.
Between the indoor and outdoor seasons, W&L has now won 4 of the last 5 conference titles. Prior to that, it had been almost 3 decades since the Generals had won a team championship in track and field. How has the program progressed during your time on campus?
I want to say we've really gotten together as a team. As this year, the breakout for all of our team meetings has been family. And that's really what it comes down to. We're a family. We run for one another, and we support one another, and we hold each other accountable. And that's really, I think, what's helped us to step up and take it to the next level.
What are your expectations for the upcoming outdoor campaign?
Well, ultimately, we're looking for another conference championship. We want to compete for it, and I think we really have the potential to. if we continue training hard, we have a really hard 2-week training phase next, and once we get out of that and start getting into the meets, I think we can come out with another ODAC title.
Drew, thank you for joining us. Good luck during the spring.
Thank you so much for having me.
Here's a look at the upcoming weekend. Women's golf heads to Georgia for Barry's Callaway Gardens Invitational, which begins Friday. On Saturday, riding competes at the Collegiate Cup, while baseball opens up ODAC play with a doubleheader at Ferrum. Back in Lexington, men's lacrosse takes on number 20 Franklin and Marshall, and women's lacrosse plays host to 4th-ranked Salisbury. For W&L Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.